It's certainly one of my favourite moments in a Bears shirt, to win it at Edgbaston with that particular group of players. Really pleased to be part of.
Listen, he's tried. Birmingham Bears have come through, the home team.
The best side won this competition on their home ground.
Yeah, 25-year-old Chris Woakes was, it's actually an exciting time, to be a cricket player for myself at the time. I'd just kind of not established myself as an England player, but I'd played a little bit more for England across that summer. What I felt like at the time was kind of coming into a bit of what I felt was a little bit of a peak in terms of my performance and the way I felt, the way my body felt, the way I could not dominate games, but have a good impact on cricket matches. And yeah, I was confident at the time, which is a good place to be as a cricketer, I suppose. Back in my early days of my career, I was certainly always a better red ball player than I was a white ball player, and I think it was around that sort of period where I probably improved as a white ball cricketer. I got my first sort of chance with England as a white ball player, but I was certainly better with the red ball at the time. That would never happen now. You'd never be a good red ball cricketer and get a chance in white ball cricket for England. It's completely changed. But it exposed me to international cricket. It gave me an idea of what I needed to do to improve, and I think it was around this period where I made a few changes to try and get a little bit quicker. Thankfully, it started to pay off. Warwickshire was always the dream of mine, to play it here on the hallowed turf of Edgbaston. That was always kind of what I had dreamt to do as a young lad, coming through the academy, coming through the system. It was always, my real dream was to just play out here for Warwickshire and wear the badge. It was just I felt like, ever since I was 11 or 12, I've been coming through the gates at Edgbaston. So to finally, I think, sign my deal when I was around about 17, or make my first class debut around about that sort of age. It was incredible. And I look back now and think, what I've achieved as a player and with Warwickshire and the trophies we've won during that time. It kind of, I still have to pinch myself about that, because it was just a dream just to play here once or twice, let alone what I've done. Not playing a huge part in that campaign, but then getting the call to be coming to finals day, to think all of a sudden, you feel that sort of sense of the occasion, Edgbaston finals day. How much better could that be for a Warwickshire team? There's no better feeling, to have that support of the crowd. They felt we could, use them as our 12th man, and certainly felt like that on the day. You have that sort of sense of guilt, I suppose, for the guys that performed really well and got us to a finals day. Sometimes you kind of think, maybe they should go on and continue to play, obviously. And as you said, Ricardo had done amazingly well, had a great campaign. Was bowling the tough overs for the team, and obviously I can relate with that, because as a bowler in T20, you do have some tough moments, some pressurised moments. T20 cricket can be extremely fickle, especially as a bowler. You'd often have a lot more kind of average to bad days than you do the good ones. So I just wanted to come in and kind of do my best for the team, and that's the sort of expectation that I suppose you have as an England player coming back into county sides sometimes, and that's part of dealing with that and just getting your head down, and obviously trying to perform as well as you can.
Toddled through for a single, but it's Birmingham Bears who are in the final.
That penultimate over, when you're going to be bowling the final over, regardless of how many you're going to be defending potentially, is always quite a nervy time as a bowler, because you're thinking about your job that's about to come following that over. So OHD had bowled an incredible spell. He was 3 for spit pretty much, and bowled a fantastic spell, as you said. Bowled the difficult overs, 4 towards the back end. He's a tough order. picked up the big wicket of Joss Butler as well, which at the time Joss was a big England player, whacking the ball to all parts, so that was a huge wicket for us. And then unfortunately he got a couple of balls slightly wrong, which can clearly happen. And it was just unfortunate, I suppose, that he was bowling at Freddie Flintoff, who obviously great at the game. Freddie was very much an England legend, wasn't he, and loved watching him play. But then to kind of come together on the field out there and be facing up against him was quite surreal, really. In those final overs, when a team needs double figures roughly, you obviously ideally don't go for boundaries. That's the most important thing. And even if you do go for a boundary, you want to make sure it's a 4 and not a 6. 6 really kills you and really hurts you. So I think that was obviously at the front of your mind, is to not go for boundaries. But the way to not do that is by bowling your best ball and executing your skill. The Yorker's kind of it's a lot talked about, isn't it? It's talked about a lot as to whether you should bowl more of them or less of them. And I think the Yorker, the thing is it's obviously an incredibly good delivery to have in the locker as long as you can execute it. But you only need to miss it by this much, and you think of the distance that you're trying to bowl, that's not much at all. So, but it's amazing how some days you just feel like you're on, you've got it right, you're getting your length spot on, you're hitting the crease line, and there's other days where you just feel like you're never going to get it there. So you need to obviously work with how you're feeling on that day, but it's such an important ball to try and execute well.
Onigues!
Pretty much exactly what I wanted to execute. I mean, obviously, ideally, the plan was to try and keep Parry on strike at this moment in time, because the more balls you could bowl at Parry, obviously, the more you feel like you're in control. And no offence to Stephen Parry, but we would have backed myself probably 9 times out of 10 to try and defend that score against him. But obviously, Freddie was the one who was the danger man to try and score their runs. So trying to keep him on strike was the plan. And obviously they ran through a bye, but I was pleased with the ball. Pretty good Yorker, and obviously this is where I suppose the pressure builds a little bit more, because you're bowling against Flintoff. And I suppose I was at the end of my run and kind of thinking, certainly going through my mind, that it was kind of written in the stars for him. Having come back for the final, hit the final 2 balls of OHD for 6, and then you think, oh no, this is kind of written in the stars for Freddie. So had to kind of just refocus, and I think, as I mentioned, just purely focus on myself and the ball that I wanted to bowl. But
he gets a single at least. He's got to go, Flintoff. He's got to go, but there's a slip.
I think there'd have probably been a good chance of him getting 2 there anyway. I suppose at that moment in time, you just you again didn't quite execute the ball where I'd like to, so you kind of readjust and think, got to be that extra little bit more focused. That slight change not in action, but obviously the difference between bowling a Yorker spot on the line and missing it by that much is about a tiny little minute where you release the ball from. So trying to get that right and making sure that I get that right in the next delivery.
Goes back again, finds the leg side. He's got to scamper. Flintoff's got to go.
I think by this point, Freddie's he's struggling with the old fitness levels. I think he's blowing a little bit. So again, pleased with the delivery. I felt like I got it right, got it in the block hole. But I suppose at this point, you're now starting to think, we're on top. They need 9 off 3. You think another good ball or 2 here, and can get us over the line. But it's very much a point of trying to stay focused, stay in the present, because it's easy to let your mind wander to what could happen. You've got to try and stay in the moment, obviously.
Well bowled, terrific bowling. Oh, not this time. Not this time. He's not coming back.
Brilliant from Woakes, outstanding from Woakes. He had a smile on his face, he's handling pressure.
I don't think I was smiling too much, to be really honest. Obviously, heart was still pumping, and you're very much in the moment, very, focused, but obviously realising, this is a big moment in the game, and I think that was probably out of the whole 6 balls in the over, that was the most important for me, because they needed 9 off 3, and I really nailed my Yorker, and obviously he dug it out and got 1. To get Freddie off strike at that moment in time was huge. a real big part of that over, that fourth delivery. So was really pleased with the execution, the fact they only got one, and again obviously bowling at the tail end there for the fifth delivery. So huge moment. And I think NASA said 4 out of 4 Yorkers. I'm not quite sure I had 4 out of 4 at that moment in prime time, maybe 3 out of 4. So pretty pleased with how the over was going. But I wouldn't say I was smiling in terms of over the moon and feeling that the game was done and won. It was more just a bit of relief that maybe Freddie was off strike, and as I said, you could probably see the finish line, but as soon as you slip into that sort of mindset, it's a dangerous place to be.
A 4, no wonder his skipper's got his arm round him.
Stephen Perry will get 2. Well, it's all down to Perry.
It's one of those moments. I think you naturally want to be in those moments, and of course you want to be the guy to stand up for your team and deliver I suppose a final over win. But also there's that sort of like you say, that added pressure that you don't want to ruin it for your teammates, I suppose, because a lot of the time T20 matches do come down to who's bowling the last over, and if you lose and don't bowl, I mean I personally had a pretty good day, but I could easily ruin that by bowling 2 or 3 bad balls. So I suppose you just want to get it over the line for your teammates. At this point, you're not really thinking about yourself. You're thinking about the team. You're thinking about what it means to the team to lift the trophy. Obviously, we were at Edgbaston as well. Home ground, home venue, home fans, friends, family in the stands. Really, you do feel the weight of that pressure as well, and just really pleased that we could execute our skills and get it done.
Oh, he's tried. Birmingham Bears have come through, the home team, and they have been absolutely brilliant today. And that little matter of 280,000 in the skyrocket.
But in fairness, a complete performance was from the Birmingham Bears. The best side won this competition on their home ground.
Yeah, great to think that they said that the best team won on their home game, on their home ground. But I think we thoroughly deserved it, because we just stuck to what we knew we were good at. Played our brand of cricket. We talk about guys stepping up in different parts of the day. You look at different moments. Everyone at some point kind of put a hand up, and individual performances in T20 games are really important. I think the T20 comp is probably one of the hardest to win. There's a lot of good teams up and down the country. The fact that we haven't done it since shows how hard it is to win. And it's certainly one of my favourite moments in a Bears shirt. To not because I was bowling that final over by any means. It's more just the fact that what it means for the club to win it at Edgbaston with that particular group of players. A lot of guys who I shared the dressing room with for a long period of time, 10 years plus. Really good memories, and ones, like you say, will stay with us forever. And when you say 10 years, it makes you feel old, doesn't it? But it would be nice for us to bring some silverware back to Edgbaston. The club has got God knows how many trophies in its cabinet already, and it's important that we keep trying to add to that. So it would be lovely to bring back another trophy, and hopefully 2024 is the year.